All right, everyone. Today we're done with the psychoanalysts and we're moving on to kind of the humanists. And among the humanists, there's two particular men that kind of stand out above all the others, and that's Abraham Maslow and Carl Rodgers. If you are taking any of the education classes and you've heard about Bloom's taxonomy or any of that kind of stuff, they actually rip off Maslow. If you ever and a lot of kind of just basic ideas as to um, really more how to develop the person comes from these guys. So these guys are definitely more sunshine and bunnies than Freud ever thought of being. Um, and there's a few basic differences between the philosophies. Whereas Freud saw everybody as being damaged and needing to be fixed, Maslow and Rodgers and all the other humanists see people as innately good and not damaged, and if anything, they need help to bring out their full potential. Okay, so this is really the big divide between the psychoanalysts and the humanists. There's some other things that are kind of tied up in there as well, but kind of the base understanding of human nature is that. So, uh, basically, humanistic theory, um, pretty much from the get-go, set out to set itself apart from psychoanalysts and behaviorism. And that's um, Abraham Maslow. He is kind of the first guy. And what he did was instead of kind of looking at the damaged people and trying to fix them, what he did was he went the opposite direction. He looked at the most successful and the most productive and studied them and tried to look for what were the traits that they had that helped them to be successful. And what he found were kind of three overall things. There were some others, but these are kind of the big three. One, productive people, they see the world for what it really is. Um, they accept themselves and others for who they are, and they adapt to challenges by focusing on the problem. So, pretty much the idea is this. Um, and it's something we've kind of talked about before in the past. The idea that when you see something, when you see somebody talking to you, or like, you see someone talking to you, you hear what they're saying, you do all this other stuff. What you do is you interpret what they're saying to you. So, again, it's the thing that separates it, because when you interpret, like for example, somebody walks up to you and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" Or, "Hey, how you doing?" You interpret based off the inflection, the energy level, all of that to be what is really meant. And what some people can do is they can read too much into something. So, looking at productive people and successful people and psychologically healthy people, what he found is kind of the first thing is they make accurate interpretations of the situations and the world and not make false interpretations based off of their own thoughts, feelings, and those types of things. Second thing, kind of delving into the accepting themselves part and other people. They accept themselves for who they are. They're very, very conscious of their strengths, their weaknesses. They don't make excuses for it. If it's something they can fix, they can fix it. If it's something they can't fix, like, they're just bad at math, no matter what they're gonna do. So they get somebody in their inner circle who's good at math to try to balance out that weakness. So the kind of the idea of being egocentric where they have to do it all, you know, that's kind of doesn't really enter their thought process that much. They're very realistic about themselves and other people and those types of things. And then again, they adapt to the challenges by focusing on the problem itself. So again, like something happens. There's a problem. Okay, you got two choices. Do you sit around and beat yourself with roses and crying about it, or do you actually do things to solve the problem and not let emotions cloud and you get yourself spun up and you go into a tailspin and all the other stuff. Successful people, they adapt to the challenges, they don't spin up, they don't get all hyper emotional, and they focus on the task at hand. So pretty much in his studies, he kind of came up with this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or Maslow's pyramid, as I call it. And really, what it is kind of this: from we start at the bottom, and then we work our way up. So, basically, the first thing we need are your physiological needs. Warm, you need to be warm. You need, cool when it's 1,000 degrees outside. When summer hits, you need rest. You need food. You need water. You need shelter. You need those basic things to survive. Then you move up a notch. You need to feel safe. You need to not be afraid that somebody's going to come out by with a hammer and smash your head in. So you need safety. You need security. So your basic needs of living are met. You're safe, you're not afraid of dying, then you can begin to form friendships. You can have intimate relationships with people, and those close friends and family and those types of people. Um, those go into your psychological needs. So you have friendships, you have family, maybe a significant other at some point in the future. Then from there, you have those people that can support you to move on to the esteem needs, those things that that make you feel good about yourself, those things that you can accomplish. And then once those things are done, then you can move on to become a self-actualized person where you're achieving your full potential. This can usually includes creative activities, writing a novel, singing a song, doing whatever, being the best basketball player, those types of things. So, but the idea is you have to start at the bedrock level, and then you move up, and then you move up, and then you move up. So, like for example, if this was normal school time, you show up to school. Well, we have electricity. You get, everybody on campus gets free breakfast. You got lunch. You got those types of things. So those basic physiological needs are met. Then you have your safety needs, where we have things to keep you safe. We have lockdown drills and fire drills and locks on the door to keep, Guido the axe murderer from coming into the school and carving us all up. We got, rules that keep you safe and everybody else safe. If there's ever somebody bullying, we got things for that. So, but the idea is to create a safe environment. So your needs are met. You're not starving to death. You're not afraid somebody's going to beat you up. Then you can start making friends with your other classmates. You see how this works. You make friends. Then those friends support you and you support them in whatever you're doing. In a class, you're part of an extracurricular activity. Um, but you have your friends, you support each other to achieve. And then once you have those, once you got those four things, then you can move on and start trying to self-actualize. You can start branching out and being more than what you were just before, and discover things about yourself or accomplish those big goals that you have in your life. And that's really the idea of Maslow's and his hierarchy of needs. The other guy, the other giant, is a guy named Carl Rodgers. And what he did was he kind of piggybacked off Maslow and went back to trying to kind of work with people in a clinical setting. Um, and what he did was he looked at the person, if somebody's going to try to help them, um, basically you pretty much make it about the person. So you don't, again, if somebody comes to you with a problem or something, you don't immediately go into a long speech about why your life sucks. Um, but some basic things. He believed that people were innately good, and what happens was environments that people grow up in, will either help or hinder someone's development along the pyramid. So again, if you come to school and you're starving to death, are you really going to care about your biology test? That kind of thing. And overall, there are three things that Rodgers said that you need um, for personal growth, and he does kind of piggyback off of Jung a little bit. Um, is one, the idea of genuineness, being able to be open with your own feelings and are transparent. So you're honest with yourself. You're not hiding behind a mask, either to other people or even to yourself. The number one person we lie to is actually ourselves. I'm okay, not really. My life, I'm falling apart. That kind of thing. Um, and then, secondly, is people need acceptance, which he called unconditional positive regard. Pretty much the idea is this: you can sit down with somebody who, quite frankly, scares the ever loving crap out of you. Like, they're a murderer type person. They can confess really, really dark fears and urges and things they've done in the past, and you don't reject them. Like, you just accept them for who they are and try to help them move beyond that. Um, and then the other thing that you need is empathy, the ability to share or mimic others' feelings and reflect their meanings. Um, because, again, kind of the idea is this: everybody wants to be understood, and empathy is the key to trying to be able to understand what's going on with somebody else. And again, if you can share the feelings with somebody and even reflect their meaning back to them, because one of the things that people need is a looking glass. So they need to be able to bounce off of you, or you might need to bounce off of someone one day, and you just need to vent, and you need them to, in essence, repeat what you just told them so you can hear it yourself. Um, and empathy is kind of the key for that. So that kind of wraps up everything I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to dabble in some more humanists next time and some of their ideas and kind of branch out a little bit. This is really just a primer. But what I want you guys to do today is create a pyramid showing Maslow's hierarchy of needs for a fictional character. Because with any good piece of literature, and it makes it a little bit fun, is, yeah, just show how it worked for a fictional character. And um, and here's my example. What I chose was a guy from an anime called Mobile Suit Gundam, a guy named Casval Rem Daikun, and this is really kind of, again, showing how his needs are met. So starting out at the very bottom, physiological needs. He drinks tea to stay hydrated. This one, yeah, probably will end up trying keeping that pretty generic. But the next one, safety needs. He wears a mask to hide his face, and he takes on the name of Shar Aznable, to hide from his enemies. For his belongingness and love needs, there were some other people, but I mainly went with his sister. He's close to his sister after the loss of his parents and would do anything to keep her safe. His esteem needs, he goes off, becomes a war hero, known as the Red Comet. And then at the self-actualization moment, is he's pretty much able to take revenge on the Zabi family for murdering his father. And he tries to make everything safe for his sister and all that other good stuff. But so just choose a fictional character and make a pyramid like this. Just get a little picture, just kind of showing it, and and have a little blurb, just really just describing or explaining how that character does it. And Here's a blank thing that I gave you. This will be the last thing in the handouts. But yeah, just take this, fill it in, and then submit that to me on Schoology. And make sure your name is on it too. I forgot to put my name on it. And that's about it. Peace out.